Hello, good
Hello,
afternoon.
hi, how are you? Welcome back.
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
I am good. Thank you for asking. It's always so wonderful to speak with you, Raj.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Same here.
because seriously, whenever I look at you, I see a lot of determination and I also see a lot of improvement, and that is what
Hmm.
encourages me also to move on and yes, help other people.
Thank you, thank
So
you.
I'm really thankful for that. Yeah, you're
Yeah, of
welcome. Okay,
course.
so how have you? Yeah, how have you been all these days?
I've been great. And like the last session, the
Mm-hmm.
way we were talking, I
Right.
was trying to explain my problem with you, and you were about to suggest something, and there we were done because of the
Yes,
time.
not
So
many. Okay.
I had explained you that this is the one thing that I have been being told by many tutors, that when I speak, it sounds like I'm thinking more about what is there to talk next. I'm thinking
Right.
about my other maybe the some ideas or something that I'm about to say next, and in that process, I am not able to be that fluent. So I'm
Okay.
lacking there. So how to work on that? Though I do not feel, sometimes I feel that okay, sometimes when I'm unaware with the topic, of course, I do think that how would I interpret this, or how would I counter this idea or this point. So in that way, I take some time for sure. But normally, if
Right.
I do not have, I have enough knowledge on the
Right.
content or the topic, I don't think that I think that way. Yet
Mhm.
I'm getting this, and I'm unable to work on this. That how to eradicate this from my
Oh,
speaking. Like
right.
even when I'm talking, it sounds that I'm talking good.
Mhm.
It is good way. It's going slowly in flow. But when
Right.
I go back and listen to the same recording, it seems like I'm breaking in between the sentences. So how to
O-
work on this?
Okay. I'll give you a few suggestions on that. Okay. But first of all, I must tell you that Raj, not everyone is a speaker,
Right.
right? Not
Yeah.
everyone can be an orator like, let's say, Jiddu Krishnamurti, or a fabulous orator like Shashi Tharoor. Not everyone can.
Right. Right.
Every person has his or her own limitations, right?
Of course. Of course.
Right. And we can only make suggestions as to what we have seen and as to what we do, right? I'll give you a
Right.
very I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say that I drive the car, okay, and I drive pretty well, okay.
Right.
When I'm sitting with someone who is not so proficient with driving the car, so I can only give that person a few tips, right, of
Right.
driving the car.
Yeah.
For for example, when I was learning how to drive, my teacher, my guru, right, he told me that he said, "Sir," he used to call me sir. So he said, "Sir, no matter what you do, even if the road is absolutely empty," he said, "do not leave your side." Okay, that is
Right.
the lesson. So that
Yeah.
is how I have been taught, and that is how I practice my driving. Even if the road is empty, I never go in the middle of the road. I'm always on the left side of it. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Right. So that is how I drive, and that is how I have adopted driving. Right?
Right.
Not everyone has that very same point of view. If they see the road open, they will drive in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Of course.
Right? I may tell them 100 times, I may tell them 120 times, but they will still do the same thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because that is the way they have learned how to drive. That is the way they are. Right?
Right.
Okay. Now the thing is that you do not need to feel guilty about what you are.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
All right. There is
Yeah.
no point feeling guilty about that. Okay, if someone can speak really well and if someone is a very good orator, so that is through practice that he has done that, right? No one is, no
Right.
one is, no one is a born speaker. No one is a born dancer. No one is a born singer. No one is a born actor, right? It
Right.
is only
Right.
obvious that they have achieved what they are today, right?
Yeah. Right.
So the first thing that we need to do is we need to accept where we stand today.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'll give you another example. Let's say that you have a piece of land. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that piece of land is barren. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you want to grow something on that land. You want to plant something in that land. Okay?
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
will you do? Will you take out the barren land and throw it away and put fertile land there?
that,
Is that
that is not
possible?
possible, of course.
Absolutely right. It's not possible, right?
Yeah.
You will have to accept the fact that the land is barren, right? And
Right.
you have to work on the barren land to make it fertile. And then you will look for ways to work on that barren land to make it fertile,
Right. Right.
right? Okay. Now, if I just keep sitting thinking that, oh my God, this land is barren, what will I do? Is it going to work?
Of course not.
It will not work, right?
Yeah.
So first you will
Right.
need to accept that, yes, this land is barren. And if I have to make a change, I need to make it consciously, right? I need to work
Yeah.
on it. And the change will not occur overnight. The change will occur over time.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. Now, coming back to what you asked me, right? You said that you feel that there is a lack of fluency. I do not feel that. I
Okay.
really feel, yeah, that when you speak, when you're speaking, you go really nice and slow, and it is very understandable. Your language is very understandable, and that's the foremost point that you need to make with communication,
Okay.
right? If I were to,
Right.
many a times we have this notion in our mind that speaking fast and using big words means that we are fluent.
Yeah.
Many people have this notion, right?
Yeah. Right.
That is not true at all, right? Fluency is only how quickly you can convert your thought into speech.
Right.
Okay. So for that, in fact, if you talk to people from the UK, it's a very interesting thing. If you talk to the people from the UK, and if you speak to them exactly the way we speak in India, because in India we speak slightly fast, right?
Okay.
Our rate of speech is very high. But in the
Yeah.
UK, their rate of speech is slightly low, right? They speak very slowly. So if you speak to a person from the UK with the same speed that you use in India, that person will not understand.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. So it is always better to go slow. And yes, when you are really, I would say when you're really well versed with the language, right? When you're really well versed with the language, then you can try speaking. Babu.
Yeah. Actually, my mother was calling me.
Okay, great. Wow. Babu is a nice name. Okay.
I like my nickname is Sonu, but
Panu.
she calls me. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So Panu is a cute name.
Yeah. And very
That's
common one in our country.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like most of, I mean, I have found many friends and in different areas that they have the same name.
Okay. Right.
And like we have a famous singer as well, Sonu Nigam.
So his nickname is also Panu.
No, I mean, I was talking about the Sonu. My nickname is Sonu.
Yeah, Sonu is a very common name. And I have
Yeah.
also seen that it is very common for girls also to have this name, Sonu.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I had a few students, girls, right? And their names were Sonu. And every time I used to get confused that, okay, is that a boy or is that a girl? The first time that I used to meet them. Whenever the
Yeah.
name used to come up on Insta, I used to be like, okay, fine, is this a girl or a boy? Then ultimately, they ended up as a girl. Okay. Anyway, right. Now, getting back
Right.
Yeah, getting back to what you were talking about. First of all, what I told you, just keep that in mind. Not everyone is a born speaker. Okay, we need to learn these things. We need to learn these skills. Okay, and the more we
Right.
practice, the better we will start getting at them. Now, when you're speaking about something, right? Let's take for example, we're speaking about a mobile phone. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Raj, I would like to ask you one question. Are you an expert on mobile phones?
No, no,
No.
no.
No one is an expert on mobile phones. I mean, keeping in mind, yes, only those people who are working for a mobile phone company, right? They will be
Right.
experts on
Right.
mobile phone. Otherwise, the people who use a mobile phone, they are not.
And on this note, I mean, on lighter note, I would like to say that even the teenagers or the kids know more facilities about mobile than me. They use it in better way.
Yeah, they use it in a better way. They may have, but still, even they don't have complete knowledge of the mobile phone, what the
Yeah,
mobile phone is, and
yeah,
what kind of chipset it is using, right?
right,
And
right.
what kind of operating system it is using, how the operating system works, right? And the works
Yeah,
of
of
it,
course.
the entire details about a mobile phone, which screen is better,
Right,
which that's a matter of choice, right? But in technicality, we do not have complete knowledge of the mobile phone,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Okay. So if someone says, talk about the mobile phone, what
right.
will you talk? What will you talk?
The general things like how we use and all the stuff, all the other stuff, which
Right.
are the apps that we can use, and how can we make use of that in our improvement, our self improvement as well, and all these stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely right. And that's, we are limited to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How much more can we talk about it?
So
In fact,
maybe we will have to make a notes, something like to go through it, to read more
exactly.
about mobile so that we can add something more in our conversation.
Absolutely right. Right. However, you still have the faculty of experience and memory,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So you still have the faculty of connecting events,
Yeah,
right? You still have that faculty. We, because we think that the topic is limited, we forget to use these faculties of experience and memory and of
right.
connection,
Yeah,
right? And of connection. So the next time when we are speaking, always remember that whenever you're speaking about any topic or you're speaking to anyone, you may or may not have knowledge of the entire topic, but you have your experience, right?
right.
You have your memories,
Yeah,
right? You have
yeah,
your faculty of connection, right?
right,
So if I'm talking about the mobile phone, right?
right.
If I'm talking about the screen, if I am talking about the screen, I am automatically taken back to that era when we did not have touch screens. So ultimately, I'll be talking about those mobile phones also.
Yeah, of course.
So what am I doing here? I am connecting. I'm connecting the screen to different things, right?
Right,
Okay. The camera. If I talk about the camera, right?
right.
I am taken back to the era where we used to use those cameras, where we had those. Yeah, we had to wait for a week to get our albums. Do
Yes,
you remember?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah, we had to go to the studio and then have what do you call it, passport size photographs clicked. We had to go to the studio, give them the entire roll, and then it was either a 32 picture
yeah.
roll or a 36 picture roll, right? And give it to them, and then they would develop it,
Right, right.
right? So
Yeah,
that would take a week or so, right? So if you see how we have connected the mobile phone to different eras,
of course.
and that is all through experience and memory,
Right.
right?
And like, I mean, this is the way, I mean, if we talk, we can, diversify our conversation as well.
Absolutely right. There will be more variety in your conversation, right? There will be
Right.
more diversification in your conversation, and you will be ultimately covering so many points with just the mobile phone. Like if I give you the topic marriage, now the first thing that will come to the first thing that comes to your mind, I can tell you right now, and it comes to everyone's mind. There are two types of marriages: love marriages.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Then the third thing that will come to mind is that marriage is a very big responsibility, right?
Right.
And the next thing that will come to mind is probably that these days most of the people are doing love marriages, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And the
And
next
like
thing that
go
yeah,
on.
the next thing that will come to mind is probably the divorce rate because of
Yes,
love marriage. We'll start blaming all that. Okay.
of
And then
course.
we are stopped there.
And I mean, we can even talk about it like the way even society even today is against the uh, intercaste marriages or interreligion marriages.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it can also lead us to those. Uh, I mean, those honor killings as well. Like
Right.
because of the intercaste marriages, those I mean, those killings are being done in the society. And even
Absolutely.
I mean, uh, even fathers or mothers are doing these things. So that is at the time very disturbing as well.
Absolutely right. Okay. So, once again, now when I come to think of it, when I think of marriages, right? When I think of
Yeah,
marriages, all these things come in mind, but I also think of the different types of marriages that I have attended.
right.
I have attended Hindu marriages. I have attended Christian marriages. I have attended Punjabi marriages, right? I have attended marriages here in the hills. They're totally different from what we have in the plain, right? Uh,
Right.
right? And when we go for marriages, how people react and what people do in marriages, right? That also comes to my
Yeah.
mind. Like, like if we have ice creams in marriages, the children are least bothered about anything else. They will only be running after these ice creams, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and the most of the time, the parents, people are there only for the food.
Yeah. I
They keep,
mean,
yeah.
only the close relatives, those are very close relatives, they are busy in all those rituals, and others are busy in food and all.
Absolutely right. Like I remember a long time back, this was, I think, in the year 2002 or something like that, right? So we were all in Delhi, and my cousin sister was getting married. Now she had an intercaste marriage. We are Christians, and she married a Punjabi person, right?
Okay.
We had the marriage. It was my cousin sister, so the marriage was as per the Punjabi rules and regulations. Okay, so
Okay.
we went for the marriage, and the time was the marriage time was 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. We went to their house, and whatever they had actually set up. So we went there at 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, the food was open, the buffet was open, and everyone they ate their food. And by 10 o'clock, everyone had departed. The Mahurat, the timing for the marriage was 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the
Right.
morning. So
Yeah.
4 o'clock, only the close relatives were there.
Right. Right.
Right, the father, the mother from the boys' side, and yes, a few uncles and aunts, and a few nephews and all. Only those were left there. Otherwise, the rest had eaten and left. Right.
I mean, and the same thing happens. I mean, whatever experience I have of attending marriage ceremonies in my family or in my locality, all these marriages takes place in similar ways. And the
Right.
muhurat will always be in midnight around 3 or not even midnight, the early morning, if I
Early
say,
morning. Right.
4 or I mean after 3 a.m. maybe.
Absolutely right. See, so we can connect so many things. Now, when we connect this also, so then we can also talk about culture, right? Different
Yeah,
cultures, different
of
rituals.
course.
So we are just opening out our minds,
Right.
being aware of what to talk about.
Right. Right.
Do you understand? So,
Yeah.
as I said earlier, we are not experts at anything except ourselves and our experience.
Of course, of course.
Like, do you
and
understand?
and we cannot even be. I mean,
Yeah,
if we want to, we can be expert in only one or two field maybe, not in
Absolutely
every field. It is
right.
impossible.
Like if you see history, if you take history for example, right, you go into
Yeah,
history. Now some people are very good at history, okay, they'll remember all the dates and they'll remember everything. However, history also has its divisions. Now if a person is good at world history, does not mean that person is really good at Indian history also.
of course.
You understand?
Yeah,
Right? If that person is good at Indian history, it does not mean that he's very good at medieval history also.
right.
Right? There could
And
be
I can totally relate to that. I mean, when I was preparing, I was good at only medieval history,
right.
and other things I was unable to grab all those dates and all. And of course, the world history, I could never get a hold of that.
Yeah, because you could not relate to world history, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what makes it really difficult. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you see, so we are even in a particular field, right? Like even you take the IT sector, for example, right? Now, some people will be good at writing a program. Some people will be good at deciphering a program,
right.
right? It is not necessary that a person who has deciphered a program is good at writing a program.
Of course.
Right, so there are people who are experts in a field, but in that field also they have different segments,
Yeah,
right? So you just cannot be an expert in everything in right. So
yeah,
whenever we are talking, whenever we are speaking, so we just need to just keep in mind that we are experts at ourselves, our experiences, our memories, and whatever we have read about it, whether we have read about it or we have not read about it, right? And
yeah.
whatever our opinion is about whatever the topic is, whatever we are talking about,
Of
right?
course.
Right. And
Yeah,
believe me, there is no limitation to that. There is
of course,
no
of
limit.
course.
All right.
Yeah.
If you really want to if you really want to see the effect of this unlimited thing, what I would suggest is that observe a group of old ladies sitting and talking. Yeah, they will
Of
connect from one thing to another, from another thing to another, and they will talk for hours.
of course, of course.
Right. And even these old men, right, when they have retired and when they meet up in a group, listen to them talking. They will talk about everything. Yeah, they'll talk about
Right.
everything under the sun.
Of
They'll
course.
start, yeah, they'll start from one topic, then they'll switch on to another topic, then they'll switch on to another topic, and ultimately they'll relate back to the first topic also.
Of course. Right.
Right. So observe these kind of things. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Right, great, excellent. So, should we go on with topic? Let's just take this session. I will not ask you questions, okay?
Okay,
I'll just
okay.
give you a situation,
Yeah.
okay? And just whatever comes to your mind, just speak about it, okay? And
Mm, I kind of forgot what the topic was.
okay, it
I
was.
mean, yeah, it's like if you were not existed for me, something like that.
Yes. Suddenly you are in the midst of a group of friends, right? Or you are with your friends and family, and suddenly someone comes up to you and that person says that you have been my best friend for the past 5 years, and now you don't even remember my name, right? So and you look at that person and you just don't recognize that person. So what will you do?
Right.
What will your next reaction be? You can
I
analyze
mean,
it.
I can relate with it, not in
Yeah.
that sense, but what I think what happens to me
Okay.
generally, if like for example, I'm going to play cricket and
Okay.
I play every day for the 1 month,
Okay.
and then after a year, the same person meets me. He knows my name. He greets me with my name, and I forgot what his name was, and I'm thinking how to address. And then I mean, certainly I just forgot that, and then I try to recollect. Okay,
Right.
and I'm unable to. Like he will explain that we used to play, and okay, then I will remember, and then we will go on talking something else.
So,
So
so
this generally happens with me,
okay.
and
So,
all I do, I
uh-huh,
mean, I I mean the way he starts. For example, if he starts kaise hain and all that,
right,
so I would try to build up on that.
Okay.
I will say, okay, I'm good, and how are you? Even though back in my mind, I'm thinking that where I met him,
Okay.
or I'm thinking and then talking to him. Okay, I'm good. How are you? What are you doing these days? And all this. So this way I take on the conversation.
Okay, wow, that's wonderful. That's a really clever way to do it. I remember when it used to happen with us also. Now, there's so many students that we have taught. Imagine teaching for the past 15 to 20 years. Now, imagine how many
Yeah,
students we have, right? So,
of course.
sometimes they're very old students. Now, the students remember you, but you kind of forget the students, right?
Right, right.
When the student comes to me and he says, and sir, oh sir, how are you? I look at him, I'm like, okay, I'm really good. And where are you these days? My first question is that, where are you these days? What are you doing? Right? And
Uh,
I've forgotten the student's name also. So then I asked the student, okay, so how do you write your full name? What surname do you use? Right? So then he'll tell me the name. Then I pick out the first
yes,
name.
of course. I
Then I
mean,
pick
that
out
is
the
the
first name and then I address them with the first name. So many a times we do get into these tricky kind of situations, right? And it's only our presence of mind that keeps us on track and that keeps us away from these tricky situations.
right, right.
Right. So yeah, given the fact that let's get back to the session now, I would like you to just feel it and just talk about it. Okay. So if
Yeah.
somebody comes up to you like this and he's really serious about it, that yes, you have been his best friend for the past 5 years and now suddenly you have disappeared, suddenly you have forgotten. So what would be the first thing that comes to you?
Of course, like first thing I would be able to, I would be thinking that where I met him,
Okay.
and how can I recollect. So I would ask the same question to him, that
Okay.
how are you doing these days? What are you doing? And where are you staying? And where
Right.
have you? I mean, where had you stayed at your childhood? This had happened. Suddenly, I recalled one incident.
Okay.
One of I met while preparing. I had to appear for an document verification, and
Okay.
there I met one of my old friend. I mean, the friend was from my childhood school.
Okay.
So I have shifted to another location after a 14 or 15. So the child was from there, and
Okay.
he started talking to me like, where are you, and on these days and all. So I
Right.
certainly kind of, I mean, thought that why is he asking about my childhood? And then I suddenly recalled that, okay, this man is from the same school we had. I mean, we were in our childhood. So we
Okay.
started talking, and I recalled that, okay, he is Akhilesh and something.
Okay. That might have been a really confusing situation, right?
Yeah, for me it was confusing, and he was clear, and he knew everything about me. So the way
Okay.
he was talking, then I finally realized that, okay,